Hello and welcome back to Tutoring with Gavin. In this video tutorial, I'll be showing you how to get a grade 9 in your exam by understanding the importance of context when studying Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare. The stories on which William Shakespeare based several of his plays, including Much Ado About Nothing, Romeo and Juliet, Cymbeline and Twelfth Night, were supplied by the Italian writer Matteo Bandello, who died 2 years before Shakespeare was born. His collection of 214 novels made him the most popular short story writer of his day. In Bandello's lifetime, Italian vendettas or family blood feuds were a long-standing tradition. The honour of a family required that the adequate vengeance be sought for the injury or death of a family member. Unfortunately, innocent bystanders could often be killed or injured, and many laws were enacted in an attempt to reduce the violence of vendettas. The vendettas and family feuds of Italy were well known throughout Europe. Shakespeare used two feuding families in Verona, the Montecchi and the Capello families, as the models for the Montague and Capulet families of his tragic play. William Shakespeare came from a town called Stratford-upon-Avon, and is believed never to have travelled outside of England. Some believe Shakespeare could have got all of his knowledge about Italy and France from foreigners living in London and from reading books. Patriarchy is an important factor to consider with this play. Firstly, women were not allowed to perform as actors in the theatre, and so young men and boys would play female roles. This could be why Shakespeare describes the beauty of Juliet through Romeo in order to make the attraction believable and to distract from the fact that two males were trying to appear intimately in love. Oh, she doth teach the torches to burn bright. It seems she hangs upon the cheek of night as a rich jewel in an Ethiop's ear. In 16th century England, there was a strong expectation upon women to marry and have children, and husbands would often punish their wives. Women belonged to their fathers or to their brothers if their father had died, and then to their husbands, and were not allowed to own property of their own. The only exceptions were widows, as they would be in charge of their own life and property. But if they married again, they would effectively become property once again. It is thought that Queen Elizabeth never married because she did not want to give up her power to a man. Courtly love was a highly conventionalised medieval tradition of love between a knight and a married noble woman, first developed by the troubadours of southern France in the 12th century and extensively employed in the European literature during the 13th to 15th centuries. Medieval literature has many examples of knights setting out on adventures and performing various deeds or services for ladies because of their courtly love. Boys do not love until they arrive at the age of maturity, which is why Romeo's lack of maturity is his tragic flaw and results in his death. Another rule is the easy attainment of love makes it of little value. Difficulty of attainment makes it prized. This is why Shakespeare makes it so difficult for Romeo and Juliet to make their love so much more valuable. Lovers are to suffer palpitations when they see their true love. Romeo certainly gets excited when he first meets Juliet. A new love puts to flight an old one. Rosalind is quickly forgotten once Romeo sees Juliet. A true lover is constantly and without intermission possessed by the thought of his beloved. This is also evident in Romeo, who thinks of nothing else throughout the play, except a moment of revenge when Mercutio is killed by Tybalt. This distraction perhaps signals the doomed fate of these two star-crossed lovers. Nothing forbids one woman being loved by two men or one man by two women. We see this with Paris and Romeo both being in love with Juliet. In Elizabethan times, children were expected to obey their parents, who in turn obeyed the monarch and God. When Juliet refuses to marry Paris, her father flies into a rage. "Hang thee, young baggage, disobedient wretch. Capulet would rather his daughter die than disobey him. And you be mine, I'll give you to my friend, and you be not, hang, beg, starve, die in the streets." During the early Renaissance, duelling established the status of a respectable gentleman and was an accepted manner to resolve disputes. Duelling remained highly popular in European society, despite various attempts at banning the practice. Tybalt believes Romeo's presence in Act 1, Scene 5 is a significant enough slight on his honour to make challenging Romeo to a duel reasonable. The nature of his challenge seems highly bound by custom and code, first sending an official letter, then seeking out Romeo in public to give a very public insult and provocation. Rapiers were not especially common weapons in Elizabethan England. Rapiers were, however, a status symbol associated with the aristocracy and growing in popularity. With so many men carrying weapons, it is not surprising that fights often broke out, similar to Act 1, Scene 1 in the play. Mercutio scorns Tybalt for his pretentious and highly stylized method of fighting in Act 3, Scene 1, describing him as fighting by the Book of Arithmetic, which was the rule book of rapier fighting. Earlier in Act 2, Scene 4, Mercutio referred to Tybalt's fencing skills, the passado, which is the lunge, the punto reverso, the backhanded thrust, and the hay, which was the hit, illustrated in an Italian fencing manual published in the 16th century. Tybalt is clearly skilled with a dangerous reputation. Rapiers were fast and precise, not for wild cutting or cleaving, and would produce deep internal wounds, which is how Mercutio dies. There is evidence that men were expected to be violent, which was a way for them to preserve their honour as well as defend their home and good name. Urban violence was a huge issue during Shakespeare's lifetime. Christopher Marlowe, the most famous playwright of the time, was killed by a stab wound to the head in a pub fight in Deptford in London. Resisting the urge to fight, as Romeo initially does when challenged by Tybalt, could be a legitimate legal response, but went against masculine expectations. Mercutio described Romeo's submission to Tybalt as vile and dishonourable. Romeo seems to accept that Tybalt's insults and his failure to accept the challenge has stained his reputation. Perhaps Shakespeare wanted to preserve a sense of his innocence and show that Romeo was not yet fully matured. I hope this video has been useful in your revision. Please subscribe to this channel so that we can make more video tutorials, and give the video a thumbs up if you liked it. Until next time.